Good morning. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely in the right place. My name is Chris Coulter.
For civilians in Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. Ceasefire now. Thank you.
Annyssa couldn't have said it better. I think we all agree. Again, good morning, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, future leaders of our world. Welcome. My name is Chris Coulter. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of the Berghof Foundation. Today is a very, very special day for me. I've met these two amazing women many, many years ago, and you don't know it, and I'm not sure they do either, but they changed my life. Many years ago, I was a gender advisor to the Colombian government in the negotiations with the FARC, and I was also invited to go to Havana. And that experience led me to change the direction of my career and also my passion for peace mediation, because they showed me it can be done. This is my first time at the Geneva Peace Week. This week has been also, as even the video said, full of emotions. I've actually cried in one of the sessions because I heard a very emotional speech. I've laughed in one of the sessions. But most importantly, for the first time in a very long time, I felt hope. It's a very, very bleak reality we live in, with multiple wars, with more deaths than we've seen since World War II, and increased militarization. So also, even the word peace has become loaded, and some people refuse to even use it. So the fact that we're here at the Geneva Peace Week means a lot. I want to thank the Geneva Peace Week team, Annyssa and her team, and a special thanks to Danny, who's helped us. What we are going to hear today is a conversation between two former enemies, moderated by my colleague Rachel Gasser. After that, we will also have a chance for the official launch of a very exciting new book that will also be given to the audience, Letters to a Young Mediator. Without further ado, Rachel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chris. A warm welcome to you, Victoria, to you, Juanita, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. I'm Rachel Gasser. I'm a senior advisor at the Berghof Foundation, and it's my privilege to be facilitating a conversation between enemies of the past, allies for peace today. This conversation is a bit of a dream come true. Many of us had that conversation in our heart and in our head for some time now. But it's the first time that those two amazing women accepted to come together publicly and to address an audience like yours. So I've worked, supported, observed these two women for many years now. Juanita, as part for many years of the Colombian armed forces, as one of the only women negotiator in the Colombian delegation during the negotiations with the FARC, and today as one of the best ceasefire experts in the world, so helping and supporting peace all around the world. And Victoria, who was with the FARC for 25 years as a female combatant, a rebel, as so many people love to say, but also as one of the only women negotiators during the negotiations in the Havana, but also as a senator, and today as a peace builder, helping at home, but also supporting processes all around the world. To me, those two women are really embodying what we crucially need today. Hope, a possibility to transform, peace and life together despite our differences. For decades, they were fighting against each other. For years, they were enemies sitting across the negotiation table until an agreement was signed between the two parties. And then they've worked endlessly to support peace at home in Colombia, but also all around the world through the UN for Juanita, and supporting resistance and liberation movements in their peace negotiations in all corners of the world for Victoria. We have prepared a few questions. We're going to have a conversation between the two of them, and that's going to be in Spanish, in their mother tongue. So please use AI interpretation if you're not a Spanish speaker. And again, I just want to really thank you both for accepting to be with us and just recognizing the courage and the hope that it takes to come and show up in a space like this. So thank you very much. My first question to you both is, why did you take up arms? Why did you join the armed forces, Juanita?
Muchas gracias, Rachel. Gracias a todos por estar aquí, a los que hicieron posible que las dos estemos acá por fin juntas. Para contestarte la pregunta, en mi época yo siempre soñé en estar en la Armada de Colombia. Suena raro, pero era mi sueño desde chiquita. Y ya creciendo estudié ciencia política y tuve la oportunidad de experimentar en carne propia el conflicto armado colombiano. Y pensé que con mis conocimientos que tenía de haber estudiado ciencia política, yo quería tomar acción. Podía haber tomado el punto de vista de sociedad civil o seguir en la academia, pero para mí lo que yo quería era ayudar a terminar el conflicto. Y aunque suene raro, pensé que al estar dentro de las fuerzas militares de Colombia, en particular la Armada, ahí yo podía hacer la diferencia. Y quería hacer la diferencia desde adentro para poder empezar a cambiar las cosas, pero principalmente para ayudar a terminar el conflicto, que desde siempre pensé que era algo hasta cierto punto irracional, porque somos colombianos, hablamos el mismo idioma, bailamos lo mismo, celebramos las mismas fiestas. Entonces yo quería primero entender por qué y luego ayudar a terminarlo, y por eso decidí ingresar a la Armada y técnicamente tomar armas.
And for you, Victoria, why did you join the FARC?
Bueno, de nuevo muchísimas gracias por esta invitación. Un abrazo a Juanita, que estamos acá, a la teniente Juanita, también a Rachel y por supuesto aquí a la administración de Suiza, de Ginebra y a todas las personas. Yo quiero saludar de manera especial a nuestro embajador que se encuentra acá, el embajador Gallón, que ha tenido la amabilidad de acompañarnos un rato, entonces, de Derechos Humanos aquí en Ginebra. ¿Por qué me uní a las FARC? Yo no tenía el sueño de las armas y tampoco de la lucha armada. Sí, desde muy joven tenía la idea de transformar el país, de cambiar a Colombia, de cambiar las condiciones de pobreza y desigualdad en la cual vivimos. Yo vengo de la ruralidad, de padre, madre negra y padre campesino. Nací en la ruralidad y en la pobreza. Así que empezamos a trabajar desde muy joven, digo yo, empezamos, muchos jóvenes junto conmigo, comenzamos a trabajar en una organización política para transformar esa realidad. Pero la violencia no nos dejó. O sea, la violencia en Colombia asesina permanentemente a quienes pensamos distinto. Así que la forma de llegar a la insurgencia fue el único camino que me dejó la violencia, la persecución en nuestro país. Esa fue la razón por la que llegué a la insurgencia.
Thank you so much. And why and how come that you joined the negotiation team? You were one of the only women in a very male-dominated space, but you were definitely a key negotiator in the FARC, on the FARC side. So could you share with us how?
Thank you. Es que no me corre la inteligencia, no está corriendo. Entonces mejor lo dejo así. Mire, en el 2012 yo estaba en el centro del país, una región que se llama, un departamento, el Tolima. Habían enfrentamientos permanentes, todos los días casi. Y esa confrontación, en medio de ella nos anuncian, como en mayo, que había una fase exploratoria de diálogos con el gobierno de Colombia. Y lo primero fue mucha incredulidad de parte nuestra, porque ¿cómo se iba a estar hablando de paz si todos los días había enfrentamientos? Y pues quienes estábamos en la montaña combatiendo todos los días, tratamos de hablar con la gente, o sea, con la guerrillerada, decimos, con los guerrilleros y las guerrilleras, sobre por qué era tan necesario buscar esa salida. Y al finalizar el año de 2012, me informan por parte de mensaje del secretariado que yo debía viajar a La Habana. O sea, esa decisión de llegar a la mesa de diálogo fue de la Dirección Nacional de las FARC en ese momento. Así que por cuestiones de seguridad, de logística, solamente hasta el 6 de abril pude llegar a La Habana y de inmediato allí me anuncian que haría parte de la mesa de negociaciones. Y hay que decir que por primera vez en un proceso de paz, ya llevábamos 4, las FARC delegó a una mujer para la mesa.
And for you, Juanita, how come, I mean, I saw many pictures, it was a very man-dominated space. How comes you ended up in that negotiation team?
Bueno, en mi caso, la delegación era grande, por lo menos éramos más o menos 40 personas. Y sí había muchas mujeres, pero en mi caso yo fui delegada para ser parte de la subcomisión técnica del fin del conflicto, que se iba a encargar de diseñar y negociar el cese al fuego y el proceso de dejación de armas, y el monitoreo y la verificación del mismo. Y posteriormente, por diferentes circunstancias, en la subcomisión de género. Y ahí es donde éramos 15 hombres y yo, 6 generales, 5 coroneles, no sé, 2, 3 mayores y yo teniente. Entonces en la cadena alimenticia, en la jerarquía, yo era la última de la fila, pero lo logré. Y el por qué resulté ahí, yo sinceramente no creo que ellos jamás estuvieran pensando en género, en la cuota de género. Lo que creo es que yo había sido la persona que desde el 2010 en el Comando General de las Fuerzas Militares estaba diseñando y asesorando y había sugerido al comandante en esa época que nos empezáramos a preparar en caso de que existiera un proceso de paz. Porque en los años anteriores, en los procesos de paz fallidos, el rol de las fuerzas militares pues ni lo conocíamos, ni tal vez había sido tan proactivo. Entonces yo le pedí que me dejara empezar a hacer algo básico de investigación, de saber qué habíamos hecho antes, y al haber estado haciendo ese trabajo 2 años, cuando se abrió el proceso y uno de los negociadores solicitó un equipo de asesoría, dijeron, bueno, aquí hay una teniente que lleva 2 años hablando del tema, ella lo va a asesorar y me trasladan a la oficina del Alto Comisionado para la Paz. Al estar ahí, igual la última en la cadena de la jerarquía entre civiles y militares, y me dijeron, usted encárguese de aprender todo lo que existe sobre cese al fuego, cómo se monitorea, cómo se diseña, cómo se implementa. Y pues yo hice mi tarea, pero la idea era que yo solo escribía documentos, hacía análisis comparados para entregárselos a los negociadores. 2 años después, la mesa decide crear la mesa técnica para el fin del conflicto. Y por supuesto nadie se iba a leer 500 páginas de análisis comparados. Y dijeron, usted va a ir allá y nos hace los resúmenes, los briefings Y así es como yo termino en la mesa de negociación del cese al fuego y posteriormente en la subcomisión de género.
And the first time you met Victoria, what did you think?
Between us.
We're among friends, you can just shoot.
No, pues por supuesto, hasta antes de entrar a las fuerzas militares, en mi zona y donde yo crecí en el campo, después fui a Bogotá. Por supuesto no tenía la mejor imagen de las FARC y al ser integrante de la fuerza pública, básicamente, pues eran mis enemigos. Entonces, personalmente, frente al tema de las mujeres de FARC, yo lo que tenía era muchísima curiosidad, porque en mi vida había visto una mujer guerrillera de frente, sí había tenido la oportunidad de haber conocido a alguna gente que se había desmovilizado, pero la primera vez que yo vi a los comandantes de FARC, sinceramente me dio una especie de shock, de sorpresa, son reales, están pasando enfrente nuestro. Yo estaba con mi general Mora y se bajaron de la guagua, del bus, y pasaron enfrente mío y la sensación fue, wow, está pasando, están aquí y no nos estamos matando. Pero me costó un tiempo empezar a conocerlos y entenderlos, pero inicialmente, pues por supuesto, eran el enemigo.
And for you, meeting Juanita for the first time, what did you think?
¿Seguro quieres saberlo? Bueno, primero cuando llegamos a la mesa, yo voy en abril, ya habían empezado, ¿no? Entonces yo preguntaba mucho, ¿cómo es la relación con el gobierno y los militares? ¿Se dan la mano? ¿Cómo se saluda? ¿Lo saludo o no lo saludo? Y todo el mundo dijo, sí, hay que llegar y saludar común y corriente. No hacer grandes amigos porque no son nuestros amigos. Eso dijo la jefatura, ¿no? Así que empezamos. Juanita llegó un año después, ¿no, Juani? Juani, ¿ve cómo le digo ahora? Entonces, el caso es que cuando llegan los militares, ahí realmente hubo, porque eran generales y eran altos rangos, con grandes jefes, comandantes guerrilleros, entonces ahí hubo como un medir de palabras, como entre bromas, pero también de retos, ¿no? Un ejemplo, un general le dijo a uno de los comandantes guerrilleros, yo estuve a punto de cazarlo a usted, lo perseguí, le hice tal operativo en tal parte, le bombardeé y se escapó por un pelo. Un pelo es por un suspiro, por algo. Y el comandante le dijo, sí, yo sé, me acuerdo, pero ¿usted se acuerda que en tal época usted estuvo en tal parte? Sí, sí, claro. Bueno, ahí le puse un minao y lástima que no estalló porque usted pasó, no sé qué, o sea, eran cosas muy detalladas y retos de cómo es la confrontación. Cuando vimos a Juanita, no me preocupó, pero cuando vimos a Juanita, a la teniente Juanita, en la subcomisión de género, sí que nos preocupó. ¿Qué hace esa milica aquí? Yo no sé, los que saben español saben que es milica, ¿no? No sé cómo lo va a explicar a ustedes.
Es un término despectivo hacia las fuerzas militares.
Entonces esa milica llega, se sienta y no dice nada, no habla, solamente miraba y tomaba apuntes. Está haciendo inteligencia. Y bueno, pues aquí se va a rajar porque la vamos a votar toda, o sea, se la vamos a poner fácil. Queremos enfoque de género y la milica, ¿qué va a saber de eso? Ahí.
And in a very male-dominated space, did you feel connected sometime as being women?
Sí, claro. No al comienzo, por supuesto. No, definitivamente no, al comienzo no. Pero con el transitar de los meses, de los días que trabajábamos mucho tiempo juntos, y yo como tenía que trabajar el grueso del tiempo para la subcomisión del cese al fuego, y ahí eran 99% hombres, un espacio súper masculinizado, había mujeres de FARC y yo al otro lado, pero muy pesado, muy hostil, muy fuerte, no solo entre las dos partes, pero hacia mí también, hacia mis conocimientos, la presencia, muchas cosas. Entonces, al pasar del tiempo y cuando me aceptaron un poquito en la subcomisión de género, cuando nos aceptamos un poquito en la subcomisión de género, se volvió un espacio, es raro, pero como un espacio seguro en el que uno podía ventilar o quejarse o decir: no aguanto a los generales, no aguanto a los hombres del gobierno, y salía como, ay, no debo haber dicho eso, y ellas también, esto hasta aquí, de los comandantes de FARC. Entonces se volvió un espacio en que compartíamos como las mismas penas o frustraciones, y de una manera muy natural, porque no había no sé si ustedes saben, pero nosotros fue una negociación directa, teníamos garantes y acompañantes, pero era directo, entonces no había alguien facilitando ni moderando, era entre nosotros. Entonces, o sea, nos hacíamos el propio coaching o acompañamiento. Y claro, también el hecho de que yo era la única militar en la delegación de gobierno, el resto había mujeres, pero mujeres civiles, yo tampoco sentía mucha conexión con ellas. Y siendo honesta, siento que muchas de ellas lo veían a uno como de segunda clase, tercera clase. Y al estar trabajando mucho tiempo con ellas en el equipo de género, con las mujeres de FARC, pues empezamos a tener unas conexiones rarísimas y muchísimas cosas en común, desde usar el uniforme, la jerarquía, ciertos temas de discriminación que uno no sabe si lo están discriminando porque es la más recluta o la de menos rango, o por ser mujer, o de la Armada. Entonces uno no sabía qué era lo que estaba pasando detrás de eso. Entonces ahí encontré muchas cosas en común con el tiempo.
Do you want to add something to this?
Lo de la conexión.
Sí. Addition.
Ya. Bueno, la primera impresión en la subcomisión fue la que les mencioné, ¿no? ¿Qué hace la milica? Después le cambiamos a Mili. Bueno, ¿por qué? Porque tuvimos que reconocer que realmente ella, como militar, sí sabía y tenía sensibilidad frente a el enfoque de género que nosotras estábamos construyendo. Juanita, yo lo supe apenas hasta ahora, pero me sorprendía muchísimo. Ella, ¿por qué sabe del tema de mujeres, paz y seguridad, por ejemplo? De la participación de las mujeres y de la necesidad de la presencia de las mujeres en las iniciativas y procesos de paz. Que ese feeling no lo encontrábamos con las otras mujeres del gobierno. Y entonces, poquito a poco, Juanita fue perdiendo como que, yo no sé si la timidez o el no querer hablar con nosotras, con las guerrilleras. Entonces, al hablar, claro, teníamos sensibilidad de género, nos encontrábamos en eso. Y también nos encontrábamos en que éramos militares. Pues ella militar de la fuerza pública y nosotras militares de la insurgencia. Pero además éramos subordinadas, porque estaban los jefes. No éramos nosotras las jefes, no éramos las grandes comandantes. Y siempre la jefatura ponía la jerarquía y la verticalidad y el machismo y la cultura patriarcal. Entonces eso nos encontrábamos y eso nos hizo ser cercanas y luego aliadas. Por eso estamos aquí.
And I think we all have seen the beautiful pictures with men in white signing the agreement between the Colombian government and the FARC 8 years ago. Was that signature moment the happiest moment for you, Juanita?
No, definitivamente no. Claro, fue un momento muy importante, simbólico, primera vez que alcanzamos un acuerdo final de paz entre el gobierno y las FARC, pero personalmente para mí el más bonito fue el 24 de julio del 2016,
Sí.
cuando lanzamos el acuerdo de paz con enfoque de género. Después de 2 años de estar trabajando juntas o más, las dos partes dijeron aceleren ese proceso porque se están demorando mucho, y lo logramos. Hicimos una ceremonia especial en la que se hizo una firma simbólica de todo el acuerdo con enfoque de género, hicimos el lanzamiento del acuerdo con enfoque de género y fue muy bonito porque por primera vez en los 5 años de negociación nosotras todas estábamos en primera fila sentadas ahí y éramos el foco de atención por fin, y por fin alguien reconocía el trabajo. No les contesto antes, pero me acuerdo que el día anterior o 2 días antes, la directora de ONU Mujeres, más una amiga de Victoria, la representante especial de Naciones Unidas para el tema de violencia de género, estaban en Cuba y iban a estar en nuestro evento, pero se reunieron con nosotras. Y yo creo que hasta ese momento nosotras habíamos hecho el trabajo que nos tocaba hacer, muy comprometido, pero pues era lo que había que hacer y estábamos contentas y orgullosas del trabajo, pero no más. Pero en esa reunión, esas 2 señoras y alguien más de Naciones Unidas, de la ONU, nos dijeron palabras tan bonitas, y casualmente estaba lloviendo, alguien llegó tarde y terminamos la subgénero, toda la subcomisión de género, sentadas del mismo lado. Esto nunca pasaba, siempre estaba el gobierno, las FARC y los noruegos y la cubana. Pero por primera vez, por coincidencia, porque ellas ya estaban sentadas, nos sentamos todas juntas. Y yo, wow, esto es diferente. Y nos hablaron tan bonito que dije, no voy a llorar si Victoria no llora. No, todas como, miraba a ver si estaban llorando y lágrima aquí, yo no lloro hasta que… Pero es la primera vez que dije, wow, creo que hicimos algo chévere, algo interesante, algo muy poderoso, y el día siguiente fue esa ceremonia. Ahí, sinceramente, es lo que yo llamo el segundo día más feliz de mi vida.
And you'll ask her about the first moment during the break. What was your happiest moment during this process?
No fue la foto de blanco. Fue buena, realmente esperanzadora, pero sobre todo ese día de la foto de blanco teníamos mucha incertidumbre. O sea, más que el momento yo era más allá. ¿Qué va a pasar? ¿Y ahora qué viene? ¿Va a funcionar? ¿Nos van a matar a todos? O sea, fue casi que un pánico. ¿Vamos a dejar las armas? ¿Qué va a suceder en este país? Entonces no fue el día más feliz de mi vida. En cambio, el 24 de julio de 2016 fue nuestro gran día. Era propio, nadie nos los iba a arrebatar, y lo vivimos y lo sentimos, y yo no pude evitar esa emoción profunda de levantar la mano y de sentir que habíamos hecho algo muy grande. Y sí, nosotras habíamos trabajado casi 3 años realmente, Juani, en la subcomisión, con tantos retos y dificultades y obstáculos y señalamientos y estigmatización que nos hacían sentir casi culpables por atrevernos a decir que íbamos a incorporar el enfoque. Y todavía hasta el último momento no sabíamos si las 2 partes nos iban a aceptar el enfoque, porque eso no lo sabíamos. Y tengo que hacer un reconocimiento. Eso fue gracias a la comunidad internacional, que les dijo lo que están haciendo a la mesa, a los grandes jefes, es lo máximo, es novedoso, es no sé qué. Y por eso ellos nos echaron para atrás. Porque hasta el último momento no nos habían dicho que iban a aceptar las modificaciones que nosotras habíamos hecho. Y por eso esa reunión que dice Juanita, con estas señoras de grandes jerarcas, podríamos decir, de la ONU, ellas nos decían, ustedes están innovando, están inventando, están haciendo algo nuevo, único hasta ahora, Y ahí nos sentimos más grandes de lo que éramos. Por eso, ese fue el día más feliz.
My last question is, what do you think of La Mili today? What do you think of her?
Ay, de la Mili ahorita.
And what do you wish her?
Bueno, yo quería que Juanita siguiera la vida militar. Porque además quería que, bueno, ella, su oficial, ¿cierto? Eras oficial, eso. Entonces podía ser almiranta. En Colombia no ha habido. Ahora sí, ¿no?
Hay dos.
Ahora. Pero hasta ese momento no había almirantas. O sea, el máximo rango de la fuerza de la naval. Y entonces yo decía, yo quiero tener una amiga como almiranta y decir, es mi amiga. Negociamos un acuerdo de paz. Incluimos el enfoque de género. Pero ella no quiso. Total, yo la titulé como almiranta. Siempre nos saludamos almiranta. Ella me dice otra cosa que no es cierta y no va a ser, pero con Juanita nos apreciamos muchísimo porque fuimos cómplices. Aquí no hemos contado casi que nada de lo que hicimos para lograr el enfoque, pero fuimos absolutamente cómplices. No ilegal, pero en ese momento hubiese podido ser visto como ilegal, porque era casi clandestino, de informarnos, mira, van a meter esto, ustedes lo piensan, ¿qué quieren? ¿Lo van a incluir? ¿Cuál es la propuesta de ustedes? Y luego ella presentar la propuesta y defenderla como de ella, pero era nuestro acuerdo. O sea, las alianzas funcionan para construir la paz. Entonces, la aprecio muchísimo y estoy muy complacida de poder estar con ella en este escenario.
What do you think of her? What do you wish her?
Yo a Vic, le digo Vic, desde hace mucho tiempo le digo ministra plenipotenciaria, porque ella era plenipotenciaria en La Habana y después yo quería que fuera ministra, mi ministra de Defensa, cuando yo fuera almiranta. Entonces, sí, las cosas no se dieron, pero igual tenemos los títulos simbólicos y honorarios de ministra plenipotenciaria y almiranta. Yo quiero mucho a Victoria, y a otras compañeras como Macamila, Sandrita, Olga, Mireya, Erika, muchas mujeres de FARC que fueron muy importantes para mí, me ayudaron cantidades. Sobreviví esos años en La Habana, yo creo que gracias a ellas. Después de que firmamos el acuerdo, nosotras seguimos trabajando en la reincorporación, en la mesa técnica de reincorporación, en la CECIVI, porque yo seguimos trabajando. Yo estaba en el mecanismo de monitoreo y verificación del cese al fuego, entonces ahí seguimos la construcción conjunta y esas alianzas y esa complicidad. Pero yo siento que desde antes de la firma ya éramos amigas. Lo que pasa es que tocaba como mantener las distancias, pero ya éramos amigas desde, yo creo que a los 6 meses de haber empezado a trabajar juntas. Ya ni siquiera nos llamaban la delegación de gobierno y nos llamaban la subgénero. Ahí van las de subgénero. Entonces ya el mismo trabajar juntas ya nos volvió como un grupo y nos volvimos amigas. La quiero mucho, la respeto mucho, la aprecio mucho. Y estamos en esto juntas. Entonces, pues nada, Vic, yo te quiero mucho. y pues muy feliz de por fin echar nuestro cuento, no completo, claro, eso viene más adelante, y estar juntas y poder seguir comprometidas con el cuento de la paz, ya no solo en Colombia, sino un poquito más ambiciosas.
Thank you so much, both of you. I wish all of us more conversation like this one. I think we all dream of having women and men who are war enemy becoming peace allies and being able to come and speak to an audience like this one. So let's all work to make this happen. Thank you so much to both of you. And Geneva Peace Week is about the next gen. It's not only about all of us old men and women, but it's about the next generation leaders. And we're very lucky to have two of those young leaders with us this morning. And I've asked Manuel and Raquel to be respondent to this conversation. So I think chairs are supposed to be organized for you to join us. Chairs are coming. And Manuel Zarata is from Colombia, and I've asked him to share with us how that is all resonating for him as a young Colombian today. So please, Manuel, if you can join us and sit here. And Raquel Lago, both students here, as you can imagine, and Raquel Lago is going to also share with us how this is all resonating as a young woman leader. So please, thank you so much for joining and for accepting the offer to be with us. Please, Manuel, floor is yours. You have a mic. And they'll speak both in English.
Hello, it's working? Yep. Okay, so thank you very much for the invitation, and a special thanks to Victoria and Juanita. I think, yeah, as a young Colombian, it's such a privilege to share this stage with you, because we came from a conflict that is more than 60 years old. So many Colombian generations were shaped somehow or influenced by the conflict. And I come from a generation that grew up knowing that we live in a country in conflict, knowing about the existence of an armed insurgency, the necessity of a land reform, social justice, paramilitary groups, issues of truth, memory, reconciliation. So it's somehow naturalized for us to know and to have these conversations. And then specifically the 2016 peace agreement, the one that you both directly work on it was a pivotal moment in Colombian history. And for me personally, it was a pivotal moment in my life, because 2016 was the year when I graduated from high school and I had to decide what to do, what to enroll in university. And it came with the peace agreement. So my last assignment in high school was actually to read the around 300 words to see, okay, what the hell the FARC and the government signed for. And then as I went to college, I had this whole theoretical and academic framework of peace building and conflict resolution. So DDR, transitional justice, memory, truth commissions. And on the other side, I had the factual and grounded reality that it was taking place in the country, the implementation or the non-implementations, and about the debates of what will happen in the aftermath of the peace agreement. That's when I decided to come to Geneva, an international hub, and specifically to the Geneva Graduate Institute, to have an interdisciplinary approach to conflict resolution, because, yeah, I mean, for me, the theory and the theoretical framework was clear, but then I saw both the possibilities, but also the challenges and the difficulties to see what was happening in the implementation of the peace agreement in the post-agreement era, so after 2016. And then I decided to enroll in classes about conflict resolution and peace mediation, always having an eye of what was happening with the ex-insurgents, ex-combatants, the new political leaders, not only, as Victoria was saying, the big generals, but also the base of the insurgency, what will happen with the economic projects, what will happen with the reintegration, economic and socially. And then I think, yeah, somehow the 2016 peace agreement, the decision that you took both almost 10 years ago now, it has shaped the life of many generations in Colombia, including myself. And that's when I stand and I see Colombia now, and I feel that it's necessary to keep having this conversation, to keep talking about peace, because I truly believe that a negotiated solution is the way out from conflict, but an innovative approach to conflict resolution that see belongs the signing of a peace agreement, but more thinking about peace as a continuing process where you keep walking and keep building from it, that involves social justice and equity. And I think these conversations are crucial, especially now, as we saw at the beginning, in a world that seems to prefer to talk more about war than peace. So I truly thank you for what you did, and then I invite you and for sure the entire audience to keep talking and building peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Raquel, please.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I was hearing Victoria and Juanita speak about being a woman in power places and all the judgment that comes. And I think I resonate a lot with all that was said. And I wanted actually to start by sharing a little bit of where I come from. So I was born in a small town in the countryside of Bahia, which is a state in the northeast of Brazil. And I always had the dream to contribute to world peace. So it's quite a big dream. And growing up and understanding myself as a woman with way too high career goals was also to understand that I would always need to walk the extra mile to make that additional effort to be heard, to prove that I was capable and that I could be there. But I know that this extra effort, I also see it as something that contributed to my strengths in taught me to navigate how to approach conversations where my voice wasn't always heard, and also to find ways to see conflicts with more patience, and also to approach it in different perspectives in a more creative way. After all, if I am going to walk the extra mile, why not make it enriching, right? So when I left Brazil and came to Europe, I found myself facing an additional challenge as seeing myself as a Latin American woman, adding another mile, I think, to that walk. But this shift also opened my eyes to the richness and the strength that comes from being Latin American. I realized that we have so much history, culture, and diversity, and that this can contribute so much to the conversations that we want to be part of. So I think all the challenges helped me realize my strengths, but knowing my strengths didn't mean I felt allowed to be in power places. So that confidence to be in the stage today and speak to all of you came actually from the Peacebuilding Initiative, which is the student-led initiative of the Geneva Credit Institute. In PBI, we are passionate about building peace. We are passionate about creating bridges between generations and speaking about it. Passionate enough to dare to speak up, passionate enough to dare to have conversations with engaging students, with professionals in the field. And they reminded me time and again that my voice matters. So a special thank you to PBI. But standing today, I also ask that we continue to listen to young women in peace processes, but more importantly, that we amplify their voices. Their perspectives and experiences are vital, and they offer fresh insights that come from their journeys. As we've seen through the powerful work of women in Juanita, women in peace processes can change the all negotiations and make the result a more inclusive and just one. I want also to express my deep gratitude for you for having fought so much and for walking so many miles. I think we all understand that you walked a lot to be here. And I think your relentless dedication and all your fight has paved the way for young women to have a shorter, easier path in peace process now. I hope we can all, as young women, continue to build on the work that you have all made, and that we continue to make the path even shorter for the generations to come. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So this is the end of our conversation, but not the end of the closing ceremony. And we're all going to go back to our little seat, and I'm going to invite Jonas Pasquier to the thing. I don't know what you call that. Jonas is the minister and the head of global affairs at the permanent Swiss mission at the UN. So let's all go back to our seats, and Jonas, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. No es fácil pasar después de testimonios tan poderosos y de líderes tan inspiradores, joven y aún más joven, pero lo voy a intentar. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear colleagues and friends. It's a particular pleasure for me to take the stage after listening to such an inspiring conversation. One can take only hope from the fact that former enemies work together towards the common goal of building sustainable peace. Sustainable peace, it has become a scarce commodity. Around the world, we're witnessing a democratic backsliding and a growing number of actors using military force to assert their own interests. Inequalities, including between genders, are widening, and trust is lacking. It is therefore the right time to start critically reflect on our approaches to peacemaking, as well on the implementation of the Women, Peace and Security Agenda. 24 years ago, the UN Security Council, which is with its landmark resolution 1325, recognized not only the right of women to participate equally in peace processes, but also the necessity of this. Yet, the developments are going in the wrong direction. Switzerland, we've said it many times before, but let me recall it once again. There can not be any lasting peace without women. Strengthening women's role in peace and security is one of the foreign policy priorities, and it is also one of our objectives as a member for a few weeks left of the UN Security Council. Precisely next week in New York, the president of the Swiss Confederation, Mrs. Viola Amherd, will have the honor to chair the annual open debate at the Security Council on Women, Peace and Security. It is a very important high-level mobilization around this agenda, but let's be clear also, and I can share that also as having served in New York previously, it takes more than a few events a year where women gather. Most delegations come actually with women diplomats sitting at the horseshoe table of the Security Council, and then go back to their daily business and forget about what they've just committed to or what they've just said. In the Council, it takes really a really more coherent approach to really make women, peace and security an agenda, and I hope Switzerland, and I believe Switzerland will have, has done quite a contribution on that to reinforce the gender component in all Council products, sanctions regime, peace missions mandate, and so on, to include female speakers not only once a year at the annual debate, but also in every situation on the agenda of the Council, to really ensure also a conducive environment at the UN for civil society, including for women peace builders. And also, I recall it came back to me that we also had the honor to co-lead the Security Council mission to Colombia to take stock of the progress made, but of course also of the challenges laying ahead. And now, maybe just before entering going more concretely about what can be done to walk the talk, just a sobering big picture and a small quiz for you. How many male speakers were there at this year's UN high-level annual debate at the General Assembly? Okay, 175. How many women? 9. Well, 19. So those numbers speak for themselves in terms of the efforts laying in front of us to be made to really walk the talk and to really implement our commitments. I believe, going back to that, there is also the need to really align our efforts towards implementation, but also towards concrete impacts, towards what's needed on the ground. And spoiler alert, this has been, I think, or this is the objective of the Geneva Peace Week, and I had the opportunity to attend a dozen of events during the week, and I think this is really, we walk the talk at the Geneva Peace Week in really having a focus, no matter the topics at hand, having a focus about real impact and about really listening to those voices that matter, the voices from the field who really know what's needed and know what can be done. So coming back to the matter at hand, let me share two examples of what I believe are useful contributions of Switzerland, or I hope they are useful, to elevate women's engagement in peace building and in peace processes. First, we launched in 2021 the Swiss Women in Peace Processes Network, and in February this year in this very house, we offered a space for exchange in the framework of this network for practitioners and the diplomatic community here in Geneva, a very well-attended event. The objective was to start a reflection on increasing women's participation in peace processes despite the current challenges. Second, building on this, Switzerland organized together with UN Women a retreat for regional women mediator networks in July in New York, really from all regions in the world. These exchanges were essential to inform our position in the policy discussion, but most of all, such exchanges with the women who are working on a daily basis to transform conflict and build peace in their communities, in their societies, in their countries, are an indispensable aspect to shaping our own policies also as we design our own engagement as Switzerland, as a mediator, as a peace builder, and as a peace building country. In today's challenging context in which peace seems elusive, hope needs to be nurtured. To do so, we wanted to listen to the women who are committed to work with people who have grievances, who are hurt, and who nevertheless decide to sit at the same table with their enemies to reach a common objective, a more peaceful future. So, Volume 2 of Letters to a Young Mediator is a collection of letters from some of the great women mediators of our times. They share their insights from peace processes around the world. The authors give us a powerful account of the hard work that is needed to stay in this field. And at the same time, with their personal reflections and advice, what they offer to the young mediator, the next generation working on the transformation of conflict, they give us all hope and inspiration, and as we saw, prepare also the next generations of peace builders to the very high tasks in front of us. I encourage you to read these letters, and we will have the honor in a few seconds to hear from one of the authors, Juanita, Millán Hernández. Before I give you the floor again and call you back on stage, I wanted just to say a few words. It's the last time you hear from a Swiss representative during the Geneva Peace Week, and as a supporter of the Peace Week, I wanted just to share a few reflections. And of course, before doing that, also kudos to the organizing team, Annyssa, and the Geneva Peace Building platform, and all involved partners. I must also take responsibility as a host state for the horrible weather we've had this week, and I apologize for that. At the same time, I think it stood still in greater contrast with the fantastic energy that came out of all the discussions in the rooms at the Maison de la Paix from all the topics we've discussed. I personally particularly enjoyed the concrete example, as I said, how to translate not only how to translate policy to make them really impactful, but also how to translate the findings we have on the ground to something digestible at the policy level, something actionable. I also particularly like, but this is also because of my past in New York and elsewhere, but the links made between the different policy hubs, really having Geneva as a connecting place, really with partners from of course from the field, but also from Rome in the field of food security and nutrition, or with New York, obviously, with regards to the Security Council, climate policy, human rights, and so many more. So thank you also for the bigger picture outside of the Geneva geographical borders for the engagement. And I think we can already invite everyone here to the 12th Geneva Peace Week next year. We look forward to that. Well, it is now my pleasure to call Juanita back on the stage. I think you'll be sitting here, and you will give us a reading of your letter to the young mediator. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those amazing words. Well, I have to leave my letter, but just a disclaimer. When Rachel and the Swiss people behind the book invited me to write a letter, I never thought I was going to read it out loud. So please think that you are in a park or in a train or in a bus or somewhere else, not in a big auditorium for this letter. Okay, so dear young mediator, I started a life-changing mediation program in 2017, and in the reading materials, I came across the first edition of the Letters to a Young Mediator. I didn't read it right away, but when I did, I felt encouraged and inspired. More than 5 years had passed, and now it is my turn to share some reflections about this line of work. I've met prominent people, especially men, with decades of experience in mediation and negotiation, who have drafted peace agreements and who are very proud of their work. But they have also big egos, which I think is the first thing we have to avoid as mediators. Being humble is my initial recommendation. Regardless of how much we think we know and how good we are, we need to remember that we should serve the people we are supporting, not the other way around. I come from what people call the South, and from a country that has experienced decades of armed conflict and extreme violence. As a society, have tried all the options available to end the armed conflict, but so far, the most successful approach has been the peaceful solution. I'm not saying that we now live in complete peace, but we are getting there. In this regard, I truly believe in peaceful solutions to our complex conflicts, and I'm sure that the key to conflict transformation lies in people, especially women and youth. I believe that mediation can be a powerful tool when used wisely. The United Nations has outlined 10 recommendations when considering mediation as a tool or strategy. While I won't mention all of them, I will highlight several that I believe are vital to follow. These include obtaining consent from all parties, preparation and meaningful participation and inclusion of the views and needs of women, youth, and other civilian actors, stakeholders beyond the immediate warring parties. Additionally, it is important to prioritize national ownership and ensure high-quality peace agreements. Agreements should be precise and thoughtful to minimize points of contention during the implementation stage. By applying these principles, we might have more chances to end armed conflict and find room for peace. During my first high-level negotiation experience as a member of a negotiating team, we paid a lot of attention to the details on how the ceasefire was going to work, including the monitoring and verification mechanism and integrated timelines. We ensured that the security provisions were implementable by developing clear short and medium-term implementation plans and carefully negotiating mechanisms to deal with the disagreements should they arise during the implementation. These details were fundamental to maximizing the chances for a successful implementation. We also put our hearts and souls into including the views and ideas and demands of women, LGBTQI+, Afro and indigenous communities in the peace agreement. And let me tell you, this was not an easy endeavor. We were struggling even within our own team, and not many people in the negotiation had faith in our work or thought it relevant. However, these challenges somehow brought us together as women from very different backgrounds and life experiences, but in the end, suffering from similar discrimination. By working together, even though with many different beliefs and trying to put aside our immense political differences, we found a common purpose, a mission greater than ourselves.
We tried to be up to the task of making our peace agreement truly inclusive so everyone in our country could benefit from the dividends of peace in equal measure. I think this is a beautiful field of work that is more than a job. You need to have it in your heart to be able to survive all the hardship that comes with it. It requires a combination of knowledge, technical expertise, experience from the ground, and a true commitment to peace building. The human factor is key. Trying to separate people from the problem and being hard on the problem but not on the people is something that I always try to remember from my teachers, but I find it not easy to put into practice. Also, as you may know, trying to put yourself in the shoes of others isn't easy as many times impossible. However, there is a lot we can do if we are committed to those who ask for our support and who cannot perhaps speak or participate as they want to. Working in this field does not always mean that you will be sitting in a fancy negotiation table. That's actually kind of rare. You might be lucky enough to have that opportunity once in your career, and that's amazing. However, I most enjoy the work with parties and different stakeholders, especially women and youth. I help them build their already immense knowledge and experience and support them in designing their process. Most of this work happens around various tables and at various levels. Valuing the complementarity and highlighting the necessity of these spaces is essential. This brings me to my next point. All negotiation and mediation efforts should be part of a process. In other words, single engagements won't be effective because peace processes are all about trust building, and it takes a lot of time, energy, and resources. Peace efforts deal with very challenging and existential issues, so be ready to spend months and years working on a context to see some improvement. Patience and resilience will be very much needed. As one of my mentors used to say, you need to have big ears. Learn how to listen, read between the lines, and read the body language. These are some of the many skills you need to acquire to hopefully master and help better. Remember that this is about us being as prepared as possible to bring all of our skills, knowledge, and experience so other people can design, negotiate, and implement their agreements. It's not about us, but the people we are trying to help. Finally, let me encourage you, young mediators, to see the role of mediation as a life option. We need more women in this arena, and I'm sure that if we had more women in all areas of the mediation efforts, from negotiation teams to technical experts, to women in security arrangements, to women in the mediation teams, to bottom-up initiatives, we will be in a better place. Women around the world are already playing a key role in solving conflicts, maintaining peace, and saving people. But we need more women in formal, high-level negotiation processes. So please join us to make the world, for all of us, a better place. Thank you. And because this is in practice, I will ask Manuel to come here so I can give you the book. So officially it's in your hands. One more thing. So, of course, we will have the book for you outside so everybody can read the rest of the very interesting letters. Thank you.
Wow, what a way to end this Geneva Peace Week. I'm still trying to find my words, so thank you very much, Juanita. Thank you very much, Victoria. Thank you, Rachel and the Berghof Foundation. Thank you for sharing these very powerful moments this morning, also to you two. This is now exactly the moment where we are acknowledging this beautiful journey that closes this 11th edition of the Geneva Peace Week. And I wanted to take a moment to reflect on this remarkable path that we have taken together and that we have shared over the last 5 days. So this year we had the privilege to host 70 events that spanned ceremonies, panels, workshops, special events, art exhibitions, networking opportunities, and even moments of celebration. The Maison de la Paix and the Palais des Nations have been alive with energy and conversation, with over 4,000 registered participants and more than 4,000 session attendance. From hybrid events to AI-powered interpretation, we've pushed the boundaries of inclusivity and accessibility to ensure that this space truly reflects the diverse voices dedicated to peace building. Geneva Peace Week has always been about more than just a series of events. It's a place to connect, to create new synergies, and to deepen our shared commitment to building a more peaceful world. I would like now to take a few minutes to acknowledge the incredible efforts of the individuals and institutions that made this edition a success. First, I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the members of the board of the Geneva Peacebuilding Platform Foundation, which was created this year in July. This includes the Geneva Center for Security Policy, DCAF, the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, the Geneva Graduate Institute, and the Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Demining. Your leadership continues to guide and shape this initiative. I would like also to recognize our consortium members, whose collaboration has been instrumental in shaping this year's edition. The permanent mission of Switzerland to the UN and other international organizations in Geneva. And I see here Andrea Eby, who has participated to almost all the events. I saw her every day, every evening. She's very courageous. Thank you very much, Andrea, for your support. I would also like to thank the United Nations Office at Geneva, part of our consortium, the Quaker United Nations Office, Interpeace, and I see here Itonde Kakoma, the Center on Conflict Development and Peace Building, the Principles for Peace Foundation, Initiative of Change Co-Foundation, here Ignacio, thank you, and the Kofi Annan Foundation. Thank you all for your unwavering support. A special thanks go to the over 140 organizations that contributed to organizing panels, workshops, and special events, and those who partnered with the GPP to deliver outstanding events throughout the week. To our speakers, thank you for sharing your knowledge, experiences, and perspective. It is your expertise that feeds the conversations leading to meaningful change. We are, of course, very deeply grateful to our sponsors, donors, and external partners. Your belief in the Geneva Peace Week and your financial contributions help us make this event a reality year after year. A heartfelt thank you to the artists, painters, musicians, singers who brought another dimension to our discussions on peace. Art speaks a universal language, and your contributions have enriched our collective experience. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the incredible work of our technical assistants, and I salute here Romain and Cory, who helped us very much throughout the week, volunteers and hospitality staff. A special thank you to the students of the Geneva Graduate Institute who ensured everything ran smoothly behind the scenes. A special thank you to the event teams supporting us, especially those of the Geneva Graduate Institute, as well as those of the GCSP that hosted most of the sessions of this week. Thank you very much. And lastly, also I want to thank my incredible GPP team. None of this, really, I assure you, none of this would have been possible without them. They are here and behind, always hiding. There is, of course, Danny, Tatiana, Claire, Gabriela, Cyprien, and Olivier, who is taking all the beautiful pictures of the week. Your hard work, passion, and dedication have made this edition possible. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And there is a fun fact that most of them, almost the majority of the team, also had their birthday in October. One of them had this week. So we have been celebrating all month, and so happy birthday, also in addition to my thank you. And finally, to all of you, the attendees who joined us in person and online, thank you for your participation. Your presence and engagement are what makes Geneva Peace Week truly special. As a wrap-up, because I'm going to wrap up, I'd like to remind you that the recordings of our special events will be available in the coming weeks on our GPP YouTube page. Additionally, the Geneva Peace Week 2024 report will be published, highlighting the key takeaways and detailed notes from this week's conversations by the end of the year. Thank you once again for being part of this journey, for your commitment to peace, and for making this 11th edition of the Geneva Peace Week a tremendous success. We look forward to welcoming you again next year as we reflect on the conflicts and violence that continue to affect so many parts of the world in 2024. We hold on to the hope that by the next edition of the Geneva Peace Week, we will witness more peaceful resolutions and some end to the suffering of those impacted. Thank you again.